colour should I paint my room? Do I go for Profound Muffin or Minerva Purple? Benidorm Goth? Oh, if only there were a board game to help me. Hello and welcome to All Around the Board. Of course, we're going to be looking at Swatch. This is the board game to help you decide what colour to paint your house. Now, this is a colour creation game for 2 to 4 players, and there's going to be a solo mode coming as well. The game is designed by Scott Snowden-James, and it is published by Minerva Games. And the solo mode will be created by David Digby. This is a review copy of Swatch, so what you can see in the box is not the final product, and this will be coming to Kickstarter on the 4th of August. Today we're going to have a look at the components, do an unboxing, we're going to do a quick playthrough and show you how the game generally works, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts right at the end. So sit back, relax, and look at all the pretty colours as we play Swatch. So let's take a look inside the box. Just a quick note, this box is not the final. This is just a review copy. But let's have a look inside. So we have Scott's business card here. Scott Snowden-James is the designer, and it's going to be published by Minerva Tabletop Games. There's the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter for you to follow. So make sure you do. We have the rulebook here, which is going to be this size. This is A6. It's going to be 12 pages long in the final, but I believe that's going to have the solo rules as well. But as you can tell, there's not lots and lots of rules, and rightly so, because the game is very easy to pick up. So inside we have our magenta cubes. We've got the cyan cubes, the yellow cubes here. These are what you'll be collecting. You've then got your blue, green and red discs here. Now these might be subject to change, so just bear that in mind. But these will be used to buy your cards. You'll mix these to create these and then spend these to get what you're going to see inside here. We also have the player meeples, so there are 2 per colour, because if you're playing in a 2-player game you end up with 2 meeples, and if you're playing a 3 or 4-player game you just need 1 of each of the meeples there. Very happy that they are including purple. And let's have a look at these cards. So we have these are the completed swatches, so let me just find the end and we'll flip them back over. Okay, here we have got there's 6 different piles of swatches. That's what the number is in the middle. Along the top here you have the full breakdown of everything you'll need of these to create these to then buy, and then along the bottom it tells you what you need to buy this card, and that's the same for all of those. So let me just pop those back in the box for now. We have the scheme cards there, which are double-sided, so these will get handed out to the players. Now these aren't final either, but you'll get the idea when you look at these throughout the game. And then on the other side there is a quick reference for your mixes. Okay, so then you can look at this during the game, and these will be hidden anyway, so that will be face up. And then we have all the action cards, so these will get laid out in a display. We have all the mix cards there, the swap cards, oh, some more mix. I started shuffling these already apparently. There we go, we've got some more swaps. Then we've got the add cards, so this is how you get these cubes and start mixing to get your swatches. But I'm loving the graphic design on there, very colourful, and as you'll see on the playthrough in a mo, looks really colourful on the table. So let's have a game of this. So let's take a look at how Swatch plays. Now the aim of the game is to collect your colours to create swatches. You need 3 complete swatches, and they must go via your scheme. So the swatches on the right hand side there are in piles of 1 to 6, there's 4 in each pile. And we have to collect our red, green and blue to be able to purchase them. So a card here, for example, this is in the 6 group. Along the top it tells me that I need cyan, magenta and yellow. along the top, and it will have the breakdown of those cubes to create these bottom colours. So I have 2 red, 1 green, 1 blue, and I'll be able to purchase this card. You have to bear in mind your scheme that you have. So for example, this scheme says you can only have 3 you have to have 3 swatches. They have to either be odd or even. So if I start with a number 6, for example, my other 2 would have to be a 4 and a 2, or one from a 4 and a 2 group. So let's have a look at how a turn works. At the beginning of each round, a player will get dealt a card. Each player will get one of these. So for the example, orange has got the 2 mix and white has got the 4 mix here. We're going to be looking at the top row along here. Now I can, on my go, select one of those cards. So I'm going to start with orange, and they may come along and select the 6 yellow. I've got 2 choices. I can either put it in my hand, or I can spend it straight away. So for this purpose, I'm going to take the 6, I'm going to take my 6 cubes, and I'm going to spend that straight away. Oh, that's only 5, 6, I can't even count. Right, there we go. Then it will be on white's turn, so they get to select one of the others. So for this purpose again, we need to get some cubes, so they are going to get 5 magenta, and that is for them. That is 1 round. As soon as you've done that row, you're then going to go on to the next round. So again, each player gets drawn a card. So we have a swap and another mix. Get a card each, and then it's the person on the left will go first. So orange is going to go. They've got some yellow. Let's add some cyan, and we're going to go to the leftmost cyan to make sure that I'll be going first on the next go. I say me. I don't know who I'm playing against at this point, but hey ho. Right, so there's my 4 cyan. White will come along. Let's say they want 4 cyan as well, so let's do that. Okay, so we're going to select that, and they get 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can place that there. On a turn, you are then allowed to spend not only the card that you just got, but you can spend 1 from hand. So this mix 4, I'm going to spend this right now for white, because they've just taken a card. They can spend this mix 4, and we're going to mix 4 magenta and 4 cyan, and that is going to create us our 4 blue. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that becomes part of my colour thing. So I might want to start looking at, there's a couple here that have 4 blue. In fact, the 6 example I gave you at the beginning of this playthrough has got 4 blue, so we might be aiming towards that. So we need to start looking at other colours. We need to refill the top row so that you can see what round's going to come along. So orange, I am going to get him, or me, or whoever it may be. I'm going to get some magenta. So again, I'm going into this left row here, and I'm going to get myself 3 pink there, and then I'm going to spend my mix card. I'm going to mix 2 colours, and I'll mix the yellow and cyan, so 2 cyan and 2 yellow, and I'm going to create myself 2 green. So again, that goes in my pool. Now I want to start spending this, because this, anything you have colour wise becomes a timer. So even if I got my 3 swatches, I then need to get rid of these cubes on my turn. So I don't want too much. You want to be really efficient with what you're getting. Yeah, you can willy-nilly get loads of stuff, but if I've got loads of resources, yeah, I could be looking at a long time before I finish the game, and your opponent could potentially catch up and take over the win. So now it's white's turn. We've got a couple of choices. Now, because they're last in play order, they can skip this row and potentially go to the top row there, which is the next round. However, on their next round, they won't select where they would go, but they can still play a card. So on that note, I'm going to skip white to go to swap, take that card, so that's going in their hand, and then we're going to spend that one, and we're going to swap. So they're going to swap a yellow for a magenta. There was no real need to do that, but it was just to show you how it works. So then that's that round over. These 2 get filled up. The player on the left will get to choose first. However, white has already been, so it will only be orange going this turn. Each player still draws a card at the beginning of the round. So there's our 2 cards. And orange is going to go first with their move. So I think I'm going to go and do a mix 2. So I get that. And I'm going to spend that straight away to mix my 2 yellow and my 2 pink to get 2 red. So I've got 2 green, 2 red. There's a few things over there that I'm looking at, but I'm still a long way off. So that's that go. And white's already gone, but they can still play a card if they wanted to. So we could spend this 2 yellow and add that straight to our pool. Now, for the purposes of this video, we're gonna fast forward a little bit, and we're gonna pretend that this player has got 2 of their swatches. Let's make a little room here. So they've got 2 out of 3 of their swatches, and this player, let's say, has only got 1 of their swatches. Okay, so this player comes along and they're going to spend, let's just say, for purposes' sake, that they've done a 2 green, 2 red, whatever, and they would go over there and go grab their last card. So bearing in mind they've got 1 from the 4, they've got 1 from the 6, so we need 1 from the 2 to win. So that would be my 3rd swatch. However, I still have these cubes, so it doesn't necessarily mean that I've won the game. So at this point, for orange's turn, white will take their turn as normal. So let's just say white goes there and they're going to take this card. Orange doesn't take a go. They just go to the left of the row there and they would simply get rid of a cube. And then white would go again on the next round. Orange would just go down and they would get rid of a cube. However, orange will always then go first. So every turn they just get rid of a cube. If you've lost all your cubes and the other player hasn't caught up by this point, or they haven't lost all their cubes before you, then orange would be the victorious one. Now let's say another example that I still had my 4 cubes, but white had all their swatches and they got rid of all their paint. Even though this player may have got their 3 first, if this player got 3 and lost their cubes, they would win instead of this player here. So it's not necessarily the first to complete 3, it's the first to complete 3 efficiently. So that is a very general overview of how the game works. Hopefully you guys have got enough information from that. If you have any questions, please leave comments below, or if you'd like a playthrough, let me know on that front as well. But that is all I'm going to show you for now, and I'm going to move on to my thoughts. So the big question is, should you back Swatch? If you're into games such as Splendor, Century Spice Road, abstract games similar to those, then this is the game for you. This isn't a particular heavy game. As you could see, the rules are very simple. The mastering of the game is maybe a little harder, but you know, it's a very quick game. It's a small box. It's not meant to be a heavy game. This is for the relaxed players to play it with your family, potentially play it with your kids. It's just one of those lovely filler games. I can see this being very popular alongside the big titles such as Splendor. And is Swatch a game for me? Yes, and I will be backing it myself. I am very much into my heavier games, but it is really nice when a small abstract game comes out with rules that I really get on with and mechanics that actually work really well, no matter how lacking maybe the theme is. I managed to play this at HandyCon about a year ago. I managed to play it with the designer Scott. This is back when it was called CMYK. Even back then, it was an amazing game. There's been some small changes as we go along, but he's absolutely perfected this game now. And yes, absolutely, it's on my list. It's going to go up there in my little abstract collection alongside my Splendor. A small note that Swatch is actually Scott's very first game that he has designed and will be put into Kickstarter. If this is the level that he's going with design, I cannot wait to see what he's going to bring out in the future. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to follow Minerva Games on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Please follow All Around the Board on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. please check out my Patreon page where you can support me in any way that you can. The smallest donation is £1. And don't forget that subscribe button. You've no idea how helpful it will be if you guys can just click that subscribe and follow all those future videos that I'll be doing. Hopefully I'll get some more review copies such as Swatch in the future, but I'll also be reviewing some of these games behind me. But for now, I will say goodbye and I will catch you on the next video.